Hello everyone, this is Derek back again with another My Thoughts video, and today I'm talking about a game that I think is actually probably the biggest surprise to me for the year. Not so much that I didn't think I would like it at all, but I was actually surprised at how much I did like the game. And that game is Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Now, as you can see probably from some of the stuff in the background, I'm a huge Persona fan. I've talked about Persona on this channel before. Persona 4 is actually my favorite game of all time. But this game is quite a departure from the original Persona 4 game. The original Persona 4 game was a role-playing game, and this one is a rhythm dancing sort of game, kind of more in the vein of something like Guitar Hero or Parappa the Rapper or something like that. So kind of a change, and initially I was a little bit skeptical about it because it seemed like such a departure, but it was Persona, and because I'm obsessed, I went ahead and bought it. I figured I would like it, but I actually was, again, really surprised at how much I really enjoyed the game. The biggest reason I think why I liked it so much really has to do with the music. I think that the Persona music is some of the best video game music that's ever been written. I absolutely adore the soundtrack from Persona 4. And so I knew going into it that even though I wasn't really a big player of rhythm games, I was a huge fan of the Persona music, so I thought it would still have a lot of appeal to me. But the other thing too about this game is it actually has a really nice storyline with it. So it's not just a game where you're going to be going through dances and trying to get a high score. There is a mode like that, but there is a story mode. And the story mode is actually really fun because it's something where you get to go back, revisit the characters. This all takes place after the events of Persona 4. So you get to go back, revisit the characters, see where they're, what they're up to and how they're doing. And it's always fun to go back and spend some more time with these characters because they, anybody that's played for Persona 4 can tell you the game's biggest strength is its characters. So the game starts off with Rise making her comeback back into the idol world after she took her break that happened in the events of Persona 4. And she has asked her friends from Inaba to come and help her in this big festival, this thing called the Love Meets Bonds Festival, which is this big televised special where they're going to have Rise and a couple of other idol groups and things perform, and she wants them to help her out. So the game starts off with you going through training, trying to learn how to dance. Well, something happens along the story, and one of the idol groups gets kidnapped and taken into a place called the Midnight Stage, which is kind of the equivalent of the TV world or something very similar to it. And then you have to go in and rescue them. That's kind of the basic setup for the game. The game does get a little funny, I guess you could say. It definitely, there's that JRPG trope or stereotype of a bunch of teenagers saving the world through the power of friendship. And Persona 4 is definitely like that, and Persona 4 Dancing All Night just really kind of reinforces that thing. So if you don't like that, if you think that's cheesy or silly, you might not like the storyline in this game because it's really pushing that strongly. A lot of what the game comes down to and a lot of the conflict in the game comes from whether or not the people will be able to express their feelings through dance enough to influence the shadows that are in this sort of TV world equivalent to rescue them from where they are. So it's very much about using dance as an art form and as a form of expression and letting your true self come through. Now what's interesting about that is it really does tie in pretty well to the sort of central themes of the Persona games, because a lot of the Persona games have to do with the you that's inside versus the you that you show to other people, the persona that you put on, as well as the way that the bonds between people, the social links or whatever you want to call them, kind of help to overcome obstacles. And so this game, from a thematic standpoint, really reinforces that, and it feels like it fits really well in the Persona world because of that, which is actually really nice. Although again, like I said, if you don't like that sort of stereotype or that trope, you might not like this game, at least not the storyline section of it, because it really does push that. Now there is also a free dance mode. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because actually some of the criticisms I have in the game kind of surround the free dance mode, although I really did have a lot of fun with it. Before I get to that though, I did want to take a moment to kind of talk at least a little bit about the presentation of the game, because it's it's presented very similarly to, if you have played Persona 4 Arena, those games, it's exactly like that. It's basically a visual novel where you are going through the story and you're reading blocks of text. The characters are voiced by voice actors, but the actual models are 2D images with some slight animation. You don't have 3D models in the storyline sections. So it's a lot of reading. And exactly the way that the Persona 4 Arena games did it. And it actually is structured very similarly. You go through until you get to a sort of conflict point, whereas in the Persona 4 Arena games you would have had a fight. In these games you have a dance. And so the way that the dances work is you actually only use the buttons that are sort of on the outside of the Vita. You have the triangle, the circle, and the X button, and then up, left, and down on the directional pad. And you will be looking at an image of your character dancing, and then around them is going to be this, I guess, this sort of border that will show you the different buttons. And these little indicators will come from the center of the screen, and they'll go up to wherever the button is that you're supposed to press, and you're supposed to press it as soon as it hits that border. So, but those are the only buttons that you use. Apart from, there is also something that you can use the analog sticks on, and it's a circle thing that comes through, and there are a couple different ones that will give different points and do different things in the game. And then whenever those hit the borders, you just tap one of the analog sticks. You can push it in any direction, push either one of them. It's just a matter of hitting it, and it'll do sort of a DJ scratching sound, and we earn you extra points. However, if you miss those scratching ones, it doesn't actually count against you. You won't get as high a score, but you won't be penalized. Whereas if you miss the buttons, the actual buttons on the thing or the directional pad, you will be penalized, and your score will, you may not pass the stage. So that's kind of how that works. And then there are also ones where you will have to push certain buttons and hold them, or push other buttons together, things like that. But that's basically the controls of the game when it comes to the dances. What I found interesting was, when I first started the game, I actually was paying a lot of attention to the visual cues and really trying to line up exactly when it hit that border, because that's when you're supposed to push the button. And I found that my score actually really improved when I kind of stopped worrying so much about that and really just kind of felt the music. And this is a game, if you are a musical person or you have sort of the dance inside of you, you're really going to like this, because if you can really get into the groove of the music, your score is going to improve, you're going to do better, and it's going to be a lot more fun. And it really kind of gels and does feel like you're almost doing a little bit of a dance. It's really kind of fun in that respect, and again, very surprising. It was really something I wasn't quite expecting to feel that way, but I really did like that. So you continue on through the story, and it's pretty straightforward as far as how the structure goes. You look at the text, you listen to the characters, you do the dance until you get to the end, and then finish the story. Now the thing is, I don't believe that there are multiple endings. At least I have not been able to figure out that there are. So I don't think so. It's very visual novel light in that respect. It's not something where you're going to have decision points. There are a couple of places where you will have decision points as far as to decide what to say. But as far as I can tell, it really only just kind of changes what you say, but doesn't really affect the overall outcome of the game. So some people may not like that if they're coming at this hoping for a visual novel experience, but really that's not what you're coming to this for. More than likely it's the dancing part of it. It's just the visual novel thing is to get you to that point. But let's talk a little bit about the free dance, because the other mode that you have in the game is free dance, where you can just dance the songs and you don't have to worry about the storyline. And if you are purely in the rhythm game, that type of, if that's the experience that you want and you don't care about the story, then the free dance is where you want to be. But even if you do like the story, the free dance is a lot of fun. And I actually, again, was surprised at how much fun I had when I did that. Because when you start off, you only have a couple of songs, and then as you clear those songs, then you unlock other ones, and it just became a lot of fun and very addictive. I think the first time I really sat down with it, I probably played for 2 or 3 hours just in free dance, doing songs and trying over and over if I couldn't clear it, and it was just a lot of fun, and again, very surprising. The problems that I have a lot with the game, though, come down to the free dance section, because I feel like the free dance mode should have had a little bit more freedom to it and should have had a little bit more, I don't know, stuff. Because one of the problems that I have is you are limited to the dancer that they choose for you on the different songs. And what they do is they take all of the songs that are in the free dance mode are ones that you will go through in the story mode. So whichever character in the story mode is dancing them, that's the one that you have to use to dance in the free dance mode. I don't like that, because I feel like this is free, this should just be for fun. I should be able to pick whichever character I want to play, to do whichever song I want, because sometimes, actually I think one of my favorite songs in there is one of the new characters, who is a good character that was introduced in this game, but I would much rather have one of the core Persona 4 characters that I know and love and have spent years with. I'd rather have them dance to that song because it's one of my favorites, and I don't have that option, and that's really frustrating. And I feel like it was something that was just an odd sort of oversight. Because they have the dance animations. It's not like the dance animations don't vary that much from song to song. They could have worked that out. And then the other thing is, with the dance, you can unlock certain things. So as you clear dances, you'll earn money that you can use to buy different outfits, accessories, different things like that. And that will let you just kind of customize the way your character looks. But again, not every character for every song, which is frustrating. But in addition, there are also these items that you can buy. Now, this is something I didn't actually try because it just didn't make sense to me. If I'm playing through this, the part of the fun is the challenge of trying to beat it. But I suppose if you're trying to platinum the game, really just trying to get through it, you can use it, because all of the items, you can't use them in the storyline. And that to me is a little strange, because I get it. I understand why they did that. And in the story mode, you can adjust the difficulty between chapters. You don't have to, you don't get locked into a difficulty mode from the beginning of the game, which is good. But I still feel like those items, the purpose of those would be to be able to let you get past a section of the story that you can't otherwise do. So the fact that they are relegated to just the free dance, which to me, the whole point of the free dance is to try to just be able to beat your best score. To me, if you're sort of doing something that kind of cheats the system a little bit, when in the free dance, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. At least I don't understand why that would be something, there would be an appeal to that. I feel like that should have been something you could have implemented in the story mode. So that was kind of odd too. So some of these things seem a little strange to me, the way that they've have constructed it. Now again, the storyline mode I think is pretty outstanding, and the free dance mode is a lot of fun. They're just, if we're going to nitpick and review the game, there are some issues with that. The other thing is, and this is something that I was a little bit hesitant to talk about, because it doesn't affect the core game. The core game, as it comes out of the box, is a great experience. But I did want to talk a little bit about the DLC. And I don't think that the DLC is going to detract from the core game, and certainly none of the DLC is anything that's essential or anything like that. But I do wish that I feel like there's some missteps going on with the DLC. And the reason I feel that way is, so there are some songs that you can unlock, or you can pay for and get in the free dance mode only, which makes sense for that situation. But there are a lot of missed opportunities. And I'm hoping that they're going to be continuing to add more DLC content to the game, because I really want more stuff. And some of the songs they have are just not ones that have really excited me. The fact that they have not included the ability to buy any songs from Persona 3 is kind of crazy. Songs like Burn My Dread or something would be an amazing thing to have in this dance game. Especially since you can download a Persona 3 school uniform to dress your characters in. So it's odd that they put it there, but they so far at least haven't put in the music. Now again, that may change. That may be something that's coming down the road. But the biggest issue I have with some of the DLC is some of the prices are a little high. There are a couple of songs that you can buy, and when you buy the song, you also get a new character to go with that. I believe right now they have Marie and Adachi. I think those are the only two characters that you can get. There might be one more, but those two I know are in it. Now the thing is that DLC is about $5, which to me seems a little high if that character is only usable on the song that you buy with it. Because the other games, the other songs like I mentioned, you can't switch out characters freely. So if I could buy Marie and use her in any of the songs, then the $5 might be justified. But if I buy Marie and can only use her in that one song that she came with, I feel like that's overpriced. And I know it's only $5, but I really still feel like that's too much. I think for me, if it's just going to be the one song, $2.99 might be the most I would charge for that. So that's kind of frustrating, because I was hoping to buy that, but I don't know, and I was looking in the description on the PlayStation Network. I cannot figure out if it will let you use that character in more than that one song. It didn't say one way or the other, so I'm assuming not, since you can't do it with any of the other characters, and I don't really want to pay $5 to find out. The other thing is too, there are costumes, and you buy costume sets. I think those are a little overpriced as well. So there are some just different things that are kind of funny, which I feel like is a real shame because this game actually really lends itself well to DLC, like any music rhythm game, because you can just add different songs, and it makes a lot of sense to purchase DLC for something like this. And most of the songs that you buy are like 99 cents, which I think is fair. But I hope that they will go back to that, maybe rethink some of those prices and think about adding some new songs, because I feel like there's just going to be a missed opportunity if they don't. So that's basically it. That's kind of my feelings on Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I thought I would like the game. I was really surprised at how much I did, because I really had a lot of fun with this. And I think that if you, even if you haven't played a lot of rhythm games like me, I think that you'll have a lot of fun with this one, especially if you like the Persona characters, because you're going to get a chance to go back, meet with those characters again, find out what they're doing, and that's always such a fun experience. And I think that they've built a really solid game around that. And even though on the surface it seems really gimmicky, it seems cash grabby, it seems a little, someone could take a very cynical eye to this game, I think it doesn't really apply because the game is good. If the game was not good, then I think then we would have had an issue where it was just a sort of greedy cash grab. But because they made a solid game, one that's a lot of fun, and one that I'm really glad that I played, I have no problem with it. So even though, yes, I'm kind of one of the sheep that buys everything Persona, which is my issue, but oh well, that's what disposable income is for. That's what becoming an adult is all about, right? All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate every view I get. I'm going to be coming up with a new video, sort of a year-end video, not like a greatest top 10 or anything like that, but just something to kind of talk about my gaming life in 2015. And I'm really looking forward to the next year. So there'll be lots of gaming in that and lots of videos. Thank you so much.